innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, first up to spearhead this spectacular session, we have with us none other than the person who comes with an amazing background in technology and automobile industry, who actually has worked with many businesses to develop the virtual twin of products. So we have none other than Shree HARSHA, Global Business Services Industry Business Strategy Director, Supply Chain and Logistics. So Shree HARSHA will be spearheading the session. Can we also welcome him with a round of applause, everyone? And now it's time to invite our very special guest, India's first Formula One driver who's accomplished the impossible in the world of motorsports all the way from India. Based from the business house family, someone who comes with an excellent track record. And when we talk about this business, the track record of over 100 years in various philanthropic and commercial interests in education, healthcare, and textiles. He's also co-founded Leap Green Energy, a multifaceted renewable energy company with a massive capacity. He's also worked extensively with automotive OEMs in manufacturing and development, and has also established himself as a brand ambassador of Tata Motors. Ladies and gentlemen, most recently, he has co-founded DriveX, India's fastest growing pre-owned mobility platform. It's time to invite on stage, with a fan moment round of applause, please put your hands together to welcome on stage, Narain KARTHIKEYAN.
Welcome. Welcome, Narain, for the session today for 3D Experience Forum.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With Dassault, you know, my connection goes back to 2005. We all, you know, at least myself, I used to think of it as an aviation platform, right? But then in Formula One, they did a lot of work for the Jordan Grand Prix team when I drove my first season. So that's how I got, you know, that's how I got the exposure to, you know, simulations and modeling and, you know, you know, and the performance enhancement that through the year we got through a lot of these, you know, simulations was mind-boggling to be.
Fantastic, yeah. Fantastic. A warm welcome, a round of applause again, please, ladies and gentlemen. We are with none other than, you know, for those of you, for friends and colleagues from abroad, you know, we are sitting with one of the India's best, first ever Formula One driver, motorsports. He has been with all the races, right from Japan to North America since 90s. And I think it's more than 46 championships which were there already. And, you know, we will talk more. And before I get started with the discussions, can we have the video, please?
Narain KARTHIKEYAN.
The best result of
first Indian in Formula One.
Narain KARTHIKEYAN.
Raced all over the globe and driven some of the world's greatest races.
The recipient of one of India's highest civilian honors. We're talking about the Padma Shri Award. The ceremony took place at the Presidential Palace in New Delhi, India, with the honor being conferred on Karthikeyan.
With India's motorsport icon, turned entrepreneur Narain KARTHIKEYAN.
Less than 24 months, we built this platform DriveX, which primarily we are into the pre-owned two-wheelers in terms of both the subscription and the sale model of these vehicles.
Fantastic. That's a round of introduction.
Thank you very much.
So we'll get started in the next 10-15 minutes or so. We'll know more about your company. But before I get started, Narain, I mean, you were one of the first ones, if I really look back in 90s, to even visualize having somebody, you know, think of even Formula One. And you had that opportunity and the global exposure, and you got really trained in France. There's a connection in France, I learned as well. So tell us more about how did it all started and how were you trained in this profession?
Well, you know, as you know, India is a nation gripped by cricket. And you can imagine in the early 90s, exposure to any other sport was very, very small. But fortunately, my father used to do a lot of rallying in India. So I'm from Coimbatore. And, it kind of was in the blood, I suppose. And I loved racing and motorsport in general. I grew up, riding bikes like most of us do. And then the interest kind of channeled out. And like you said, I went to the La Filière school in Paul Ricard and surprised everyone and myself by being really fast in the semifinals. And we had a group of, mostly European drivers. And, for the first time, there was somebody from India who went to that particular school. Then I got a scholarship. And then that's how the journey started in 1992. And since then, I kind of dreamt to be India's first Formula One driver. And it's not been a walk in the park for sure. It's been very, very tough. There are more astronauts than Formula One drivers. And coming from India, it was a bit more challenging because nobody had done this earlier. So we kind of had to start from scratch, and lot of challenges. But I never gave up, and finally in 2005 I made my debut in Formula One, and driving against my heroes like Michael Schumacher and so on was a very good moment and a very proud moment for the entire motorsport fraternity in India, because it's very small, but then to have a Formula One driver from India was quite significant. It took, just to put it in context, China has been having the Formula One Grand Prix for the last 22 years. And they produced the first Formula One driver 2 years ago.
Wow.
So, and they have 30 tracks and they have a lot of infrastructure. When they go, when they do it in a big way, right? So it's a very, very tough sport. And, but I lived my dreams and drove 46 Grand Prix, and then had a very successful stint in Japan, racing for both Toyota and Honda for a long time. COVID happened and I had to do something else. So I had all the connections in automotive, and this was, one of the things I wanted to do, and created my own digital business. So, yeah, again, it's been a great journey, and, I still keep involved with motorsport. We're building our first, very unique, Asia's first bi-directional test track cum racetrack. So I'm involved in that project. So yeah, that's
congratulations.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you. In a nation of cricket, you even visualizing motorsports and then going and conquering there, it's a big achievement, also. So really, proud of you in that achievement. With that being said, having been involved in the motorsports from a driver's perspective, you've seen technology evolution there. More and more sensors, artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, but the core essence of the driving is the experience of the driver. How does it feel getting into the vehicle, the ingress and the egress, and the technology which goes behind making that vehicle. So the collaboration aspect of the feedback from the driver and the engineering side of the things is absolutely critical. And how do you see this? Because I see that you're also associated with the Tata brand in helping them in designing the best-in-class vehicles as well, to learn from Formula One and apply that for the commercial vehicle as well. So this technology as a layer of evolution of improvisation of the products, and how Formula One is becoming as a test bed for most of the commercial car makers. What's your perspective about that?
So telemetry in Formula One is a very old technology. It's been around for 30 odd years. And when my first season, there was two-way telemetry, right? So the driver, the pit crew had all the data from, what the car was doing and so on and so forth. But then to make it a little bit more involving, they banned telemetry. So we just have data logging right now. But as you said, rightly said, hundreds of sensors, lot of data flowing all the time. But, the feel, and there needs to be a lot of correlation between the simulation and the real field test,
exactly.
On the track. So that's where, a lot of validation takes place. And, systems like Dassault, for example, they help in kind of, getting this right with a very small stat. So turnaround time nowadays is you can run so many models and get the results in seconds. So yeah, so things have become a bit easier, but the driver involvement in Formula One is still very, very high. Formula One cars produce 6 positive Gs. We don't have a G suit like a fighter plane. And lot of technology trickles down to your everyday, automotives. And, Formula One is going greener. So lot of emphasis on, using recycled parts. So it's becoming more of a sustainable story as well. Yeah.
So I think tell us more about the Tata Motors angle. I mean, you've been the brand ambassadors of Tata Motors for a while now, and you've been helping them.
Yeah, Tata Motors and I go back a long way. So they've been supporting my career since '98, and to this day I work with them. I work with Mr. Petkar's team in vehicle engineering, so I do a lot of dynamics benchmarking work for them. So it's been very, very enjoyable. As you know, our cars are getting better and better. So, we have some cutting edge technology. We use a lot of your tools as well.
Very nice.
So yeah, it's a very, very exciting, once in 3 weeks I get to do what I love, driving cars, and you have a lot of new technologies that you kind of, have experienced in racing, which are coming into
engineering.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And it's a very cool job.
Glad to hear that. I mean, because we see the evolution of the quality of the Tata Motors product, especially in suspension. I mean, we know now where is the feedback coming from, so thank you for that. And let me switch gears towards sustainability. I mean, Formula One, motorsports is all more resource hungry, a lot of materials getting used, and people look at it in a totally different manner. And that's kind of switching gears towards maybe Formula E right now. The electric racing is also picking up. That's one aspect of it. But in overall, the element of circular economy, I think you've been pushing that cause in India of how we cannot really sustain buying new bikes and cars. And there's an objective element to really see how we can reuse things in much better fashion so that, more than 7-8 million of motorcycles and scooters which we sell, how we can really better use the existing products and make sure they are available so that we have a lesser impact on the mother nature. Over to you on the
Yeah,
views.
absolutely. Formula One, as I told you earlier, is going much more greener, from tires to fuel to everything. The materials which are all mostly recycled, and they want to be carbon neutral in the next 10 years. And for that to happen, it's quite encouraging. But Formula E, on the other hand, yes, it's a much newer concept, and also has a lot of manufacturer involvement in it. Coming to talk about circular economy, that's absolutely what we do. Our DriveX platform revolves around that. The pre-owned two-wheeler market is 1.5 times larger than the new two-wheeler market in India. So what we do as DriveX is we have our micro factories, which are large refurb centers. Basically, we aggregate all these two-wheelers, pre-owned two-wheelers, give them a new lease of life. So we're talking about being more efficient and more roadworthy for a number of years, and so it's all about sustainability and so on and so forth. We started off, we launched this platform in August 2020, and last month we served about 100,000 customers so far. So we're growing pan-India, and it's a very, very interesting business. Of course, it's all auto-related, so it's, the connects and everything else is, within what I do. So it made sense for me to get into this platform.
No, congratulations on the new venture. To add, I read somewhere that you're also using a lot of data and analytics and giving a choice of personalization as well.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So you are the user of technology already, and you're within your entrepreneurial journey, you're applying your knowledge from racing and technology towards, this new venture of yourself?
Yes, so motor racing, especially Formula One and business, has a lot of similarities. And from a technology point of view, we have incorporated a lot and giving this platform more of, from an engineering point of view, very much focused on the refurb aspects.
Correct.
So yeah, absolutely, enjoying this space, and we want to make it the largest pre-owned two-wheeler platform in the world, not only in India. I believe in India as a phygital platform, we are there or thereabouts in the #1 position. So yeah, so this
Very
is.
nice. Do you want to share about with us in terms of your new plans on setting up a best-in-class test track, and that could be something of interest for our audience as well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're building. As I told you earlier, I touched upon a little bit. One of Asia's unique bi-directional test tracks in Coimbatore, which can be used as a racetrack as well. So that is a project which I do a lot of advice on the design aspects. I've given a lot of inputs from my experience all over the world, not only from racetracks as well as test tracks like Myra, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's going to be shortly going to start its operation. So
Very nice. So you're welcoming people from industry and academia to be able to really
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of OEMs have already started discussions on using the facility, and it's only. So the biggest advantage here is a lot of these test facilities are built in access is being quite impossible. It takes a long time, but it's 20 minutes from the airport, and all the ecosystem, the hotels and everything's are placed very close to the venue.
Sure.
So the track itself.
So with that, probably, maybe let's open the floor for any Q&A from the audience. Many people are very eager to talk to you and ask any questions. Can we get around the mic, please, if there's any questions from the audience? Please raise your hand and just state your company name or your name, and then you can put forward the questions. Any questions? Go ahead. Can we get the mic, please?
Hi, I'm Gitanjali from Cisco. I'm an engineering project manager there.
Can you speak a little louder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Audible? Yeah, Gitanjali from Cisco, engineering project manager. I have been a fan. My question to you is, who do you consider in present day Formula One India space as your twin, closest, who resembles you? Thank you.
Who's your virtual twin of Narain KARTHIKEYAN?
Yes, that's what I meant.
So, there are a lot of, in the last 10 years, things have developed. We have a little bit more infrastructure, and the exposure to motorsport in a whole, Formula One especially, because of, the Netflix series Drive to Survive. It's gone up tenfold, in my opinion. So there are a lot of young drivers who are in the horizon, and, there are drivers like Kushmaini from Bangalore, Jehan Darwala from Bombay, Mumbai, and so on and so forth. So it is catching up, but I think to make it all the way to Formula One is going to take a little bit longer. But having said that, India again, this last week we had the MotoGP coming to the Bhuj circuit. So there is talk about Formula One coming back to India. So this would be a great news, and a lot of interest will rekindle because of this. But yeah, to answer, there are 4 or 5 young drivers who are quite good. Just given the opportunity, they should be up there.
I'm Shankar from National Aerospace Labs. How much of aerodynamic design and drag reduction in terms of achieving higher speed and more efficiency, how 3D experience has contributed to your vehicle design?
So I don't know the numbers, but the drag coefficient is very, very important. We run a lot of simulations, and in Formula One, it's all about minimizing drag, but maximizing downforce, right? That's how we get the optimal lap time. Again, nowadays, instead of using massive wind tunnels, there is enough technology from, platforms like Dassault to, make this, a virtual, more from a virtual, simulation point of view. So it becomes easier to make these cars more efficient. And as I don't know if you follow Formula One, this year the entire grid is within 0.8 seconds to 1 second, depending on the circuit, because everything is tightened up. Access to these kind of technologies is easier than using just wind tunnels and modeling and so on and so forth.
So for Formula One vehicles, you need a special wind tunnel, like?
Yeah, they have a lot of different scales. I believe there are full-scale wind tunnels also in operations in Bicester in England. That's a famous wind tunnel which is still being used. There is a huge facility in Cologne used by Toyota as well. So these are the two prominent things. And of course, a lot of them in America as well, for use for aviation, but also for any sort of automotive.
Every mile speed increase is advantageous. Every speed increase by a mile is advantageous.
Yes, it's all we are talking about, hundreds of seconds, right? Any advantage would be welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
One last question before we close. Get the mic here, please.
Yeah, recently I attended a course where they had taken the case study as the pit stop operation, where they showed the video of 1950 to now, when it has reduced to less than 1 second, and it's getting. Do you think, how will we improve on that? Isn't it already reached, use technology to its last, this thing? Can it, because the way they showed the video, it was like, oh my God, this much little time, it's now, what a change between the two videos. So do you think there is a further way of improvement on that, and to use technology, and if so, how?
Well, already, from air guns now, they've gone on to electric guns to change the wheels, so it's lighter, more optimized, all of this, right? So in the 2000s, we thought 5 seconds was a great pit stop, but then within 20 years, that's down to 1.8 seconds, I believe, something like that. So yeah, it'll keep changing. Technology evolves, and with it, everything evolves. And yeah, there will be virtual, kind of pit stops where maybe the pit crew themselves may be doing it, from, without, operated by, drone kind of solutions. There are a lot of thoughts about pit stops, and maybe, in Formula E, there are a lot of innovative things happening right now. So I think you will be surprised by, in the next 2 years, everything is going to evolve in terms of, the battery technology and so on and so forth. So 1.8 seconds is already very fast, changing 4 wheels and so on and so forth. But it's somehow not very relevant to our everyday lives. So this is an aspect which is great for the show, as you said, rightly. So yeah.
Fantastic. I think with that, I'd like to sincerely thank you for being here with us and joining. I know you have a scheduled meeting right now as well. You want to make any last statement to the audience before we close the session?
No, I mean, absolutely brilliant to be here. Thank you very much. And please enjoy the rest of the show. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
A big round of applause, please. Thank you.